So today I am joined by Mayra Martinez. Thank you so much for your time. Mayra, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? I know you're in Washington State, so could you tell us a little bit about your job?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Mayra Martinez. I am a project manager at Bristol Myers Squibb, and I have been in biotech for 15 years. Biotech, biologics, pharmaceutical industry, they're kind of the same. And what I do in my day-to-day job, I coordinate timelines, prepare a lot of presentations, do follow-ups on deadlines, budgets, in team members completing their task. And I'm a problem solver too. And there you have the ESL.
Mayra, gosh, what do your days look like? How long are you working? Because if you're managing teams and, especially something in biotech, I'm not too familiar. I've only had very little experience as like a quality assurance editor. Oh my gosh, I had no idea. You hear about FDA, pharmaceutical companies, and how detail oriented they are. The public has no idea what goes behind the scenes. It is insane. So, how many hours are you working a day? What does your schedule usually look like?
It is. There's a lot of detail, and at the same time, I love that. I work in other industries, and comparing to this, I love that. Um, my day is usually 8 hours. I strive for 8 hours. I have been almost a year in the company, and I think in the whole time, I could say the sum of a week is the time that I have stayed more than 8 hours in a day. I try not to stay, but there are days that I have to, like yesterday, I ended up
Deadline. Yeah.
my day at 6:30. So yes, and I started at 7:30. Since we are working from home, I have been from home since March, and the company, I have been blessed to have the flexibility to work from home, and my manager, they have provided us or enabling that flexibility.
Mhm.
I start at 7, I end my day at 3:30 if I take a half-hour lunch. And during the summer, we were able to do a few more hours during the week, but you will leave early on Fridays. So
Oh, that's a perk. Such a big perk. Nice.
yes, and if you're familiar with Washington State, you know that our weather, our summer is very short. So we need to take advantage of the weather. So I do that, and again, is about organizing and trying not to, but the reality is that there are days that is gonna be. But you know what? I love what I've been doing. It's been a long shot since I was officially named project manager. I was a project manager before, but now it is my title. That's my job
Yeah.
description. So I'm happy. I don't care if I stay a few more hours.
That's so awesome. Like how passionate you are, it comes through. Like it's very evident. Would you say though, Myra, like being so detail oriented, having to manage so many individuals and your workload with these deadlines, how do you manage your work-life balance? I recently talked to a director of sales and he told me, like, to be honest, his personal life suffered slightly, like in terms of his interactions with his kids and his wife, because so much of his job responsibilities included traveling. So for you, how do you kind of, relax and kind of push work out of your mind to carve out some time for yourself?
I gotta tell you that it has been a journey to learn to do that. Before I started in manufacturing, I was a manufacturing operator, manufacturing technician, manufacturing associate, and there were days that the job was really stressful. And I
Mm.
have that operations job plus projects, and I felt the pressure, and I was in college too. So it took me 13 years to finish my bachelor's. So I worked for 11 years at this company while doing my bachelor's. So there was a lot of pressure, and I will prioritize my work on top of everything because we need to put food on the table.
Yeah.
Second, I put college because I needed a degree. And third, um, I put the family. So I have been married for almost 15 years, and I'm very grateful for that. I was blessed enough to work in the same company that my husband was. So we were able to commute together. We had lunch together. So that was really helpful. But I missed so many birthdays from my niece and nephews, from my siblings, from my parents, from my grandparents. And it's not like until 2016 that we moved from Puerto Rico to California that is only me and my husband. So I have a lot of time to
Ah,
do other stuff. But I have filled that time with volunteer work, trying to do, I don't know, taking care of myself, do things that I weren't able to do in the past. But I would say it's a lot about organizing yourself and, setting boundaries. And these days, working from home, this is an extra bedroom that I'm using as an office. And in the afternoon, when I close my computer, usually at 5, I just walk from here to my recliner in the living room.
I like that. Yeah. So much of it, I think, is compartmentalizing, especially working from home. It's bad. Like my phone, I feel like it's constantly exploding. I'm connected to like 4 or 5 college districts. So every day, like I'm receiving anywhere from 200 to 300 emails, and some are important, some get lost in the mix. And so, yeah, with technology, we're blessed, but at the same time, it could be a curse because there's no escaping it. Like people can contact you, right? So I think it's good to set those boundaries. And that's something I'm trying to learn too.
No, and it's a long journey, and there's no wrong or right application to do that, because now, I don't have a family here. It's only me and my husband. Our kids are in college right now, so we are communicating because they are back in Puerto Rico. We are on the phone, we are on video calls, but there's no right or wrong. In those days, I will take days like mental health days, and I will stay at home. I will skip a day in college, and I'll do. I did all that to keep my sanity.
Yeah, yeah. You have children in college? You look so young.
Well, I do have, and because I get the response a lot, they are my step kids. But like I said before, I have been married since like almost 15 years.
Yeah, yeah.
So yes, I got them when they were 8 and 6, and they are now in college. So they are my kids.
Oh, amazing. Well, you're a wonderful mother.
Thank
Myra, so
you.
you kind of touched upon different jobs that led you to your to your current career. Could you tell us, like every person I'm interviewing, I'm asking them, like, tell us a little bit about like your work history. Like, what skills did you gain that helped you prepare for where you're at now?
Yeah, definitely. I have worked basically all my life in biotech, biologics, pharmaceutical industry, and I started in manufacturing. At that time, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was majoring in engineering, and that was my focus. I need to finish my degree to get a better job and to get more money, right? But then when I was at Amgen, this is in Puerto Rico, I get introduced to lean manufacturing, Six Sig- Lean Six Sigma, and oh my God, that was mind blowing. I fell in love with it right away, and I was like, I want to do this. And for a few years, I was like asking my manager, I want to do stuff around this, and I want to go to the training. So I became what they call a champion for operational excellence within the team. And I would do projects, tasks about that. I have responsibilities around that. And that was really nice. And in a way, Lean Six Sigma and project management, they intersect. And Lean Six Sigma projects, they are in a way managed as projects. And then I started, because I was in Lean, I was started um, having work relationships with project managers and hearing more about project management. And I started asking about these, having coffee breaks, lunches, or hallway conversations with project managers. Project management follow after that, and it was amazing. I kept learning, and again I went to my supervisor, I want to learn more about this, and I went to trainings within the company. I get more projects and tasks around that, And that how is it became to this. And I every time I kept moving, I was like, what else do I need to get me closer to that goal, if that makes sense.
Yes, you were like a go-getter. And you were I like this because this is like a running theme for all the interviews because my class and I were trying to work on soft skills, like social skills. So that's kind of like how you got your foot in too, like your toe in the door because you started asking the right questions to the right people, right? So two things that are kind of troubling to my students. One is some of them are self-conscious about accents and they wonder how much of a factor that plays in the job, like in terms of job interviews and such. So I kind of wanted to get your opinion on that. And also, how did you initiate these conversations with them?
The first thing I'm gonna tell you, all of you ESL, I have been in the continental US since 2016. I am very aware of my accent and I don't care. I
Yeah.
don't care. But also, to be realistic, we want to look good. We
Yeah.
want to make a good impression. I practice that. That's why I started my LinkedIn journey back in 2014 when we were talking at home in Puerto Rico. We want to move to the US. And I started engaging a little bit here and there. In 2016, I was denied a job because of my English. That was very, very heartbreaking. And I end up staying at the company. I tried to find jobs, but nothing came up. But you know what? It worked out for the better. I continue improving my English through LinkedIn. I opened a blog and I wanted to practice my English at every moment possible. And also in the company about the conversations, when I joined my job back in California, when there was a new director in my department and he wanted to start operational excellence initiatives. And I was hired for manufacturing. I met him, I went there, I checked his hand. Hey, I'm Mayra Martinez. I have been 11 years back in Amgen in Puerto Rico. I am very passionate about operational excellence and I would like to help you. Fast
Ah,
forward to 2018, I got the official job, continuous improvement specialist.
whoo, yeah, very nice.
So, and it was in the same company that I was denied a job before. And I was not happy about that. And I had to, I was like, Ira, don't cry here. You know, you're a professional, but it was really hard, but I kept pushing and I know it's hard. I know it's hard, but I had to keep pushing. And today I'm still working on my English. I at home, this is my rule that after we are outside our door at home, we speak in English because we need to practice.
Ah, okay. I like that. To I'm like with learning English, it's a never-ending process. It's ever evolving. It's
Yes.
continuous, right? And even at your position, being at this really high professional level, you are still putting in effort, being self-motivated to work and enhance your English skills. And I like that you were talking about blogs and LinkedIn because this was like before COVID hit and you were still taking advantage of the internet, finding ways to connect with people online. Ah, very, very interesting. What about like conversation practice though? Like who did you go to for that?
Yeah, I if you're saying conversations in the social way, I when I moved to California, I went to that CPA Community Police Academy. I joined CERT, Community Emergency Response Team. I volunteered there to be the photographer after I graduated. So I'm very chatty. So I will strike a conversation from anything in Spanish or in English. And yes, I will strike a conversation out of nowhere. And I think one of the things that I wanted to do in California, but wasn't ready or never find the person was taking classes, but not English classes. I have been taking public speaking classes.
Very nice.
And you know, one of the very first thing that my coach told me, there's your accent and you don't want to lose it. That's who you are. Let's work with the pronunciation. And what I do is, and I forgot today, I wanted to record myself because I wanted to see myself right away after our conversation. But a lot of the meetings that I have at work, I record myself speaking because I want to see how I do, how I enunciate the words. And I do most of my meetings. I have like 30 meetings a week during my workday, and I am on camera. And
Mm.
I do that because I'm the one leading the meeting and I want people to see my face, but I want to make sure that I enunciate, that they can see me, that they can see the expression. So bottom line is about keep practicing and not I know that we're gonna be aware of our accent, but you need to embrace it. That's who we are.
Yeah, I tell my class I love their accents. It adds it adds different flavors to the English language, right? And the only thing that I would work with them on is like just making sure that they enunciate and pronounce words or vowels or such like very clearly. But I told them I don't want to strip them of their accent because I think that makes them so wholly unique. And, for anyone who discriminates, I said, then good riddance. We don't need them. You don't need people like that in your life anyway, right? Mm.
I know, and it's gonna happen, but I would say it's about every situation. Every situation will be handled differently. That time that I was denied a job, it felt really, really bad. There are other times that I have been corrected when I pronounce something, and I thank the people for that because it was a word that it was giving me a hard time. But other times I have been bullied in my face, and I was like, are you really making fun of the word here? And I just repeated the word and look at the person like, I know that they're gonna do it behind me, and that's fine. I'm not there, but please be professional. And it's gonna happen. People are gonna make fun of our accent. Maybe we're gonna be denied opportunities, but we need to keep moving forward. And if we're denied an opportunity, in my case, it was made very clear that it was because of my English. If you can explore what was the reason, maybe you can get better. And for the English, just continue practicing in any way possible, socially, professionally, writing,
Mhm.
recording.
Maya, may I ask how did you find out that you were denied because of your accent?
I was told clearly in the meeting.
They told you? Sorry, I had to unplug my laptop. They told you?
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
Yes,
Okay.
I was there and I didn't know what to say, and I just sat there in silence listening. And yes, like it yeah, it was, I don't know, we cannot give you the position. We prefer not to move forward with you because your English, we're worried that we could have issues with documents that you're gonna prepare.
Mm. What do you say, Mayra, your strengths are a lot? Because I can only imagine, of course, you're having 30 meetings a week, seeing people face to face. So communication, like social communication and talking about work needs to be communicated very efficiently and clearly, like, in FaceTime. But I'm also sure you write a lot of reports, emails, like to your team and such. So that's another component that my class and I are working on, like imagining different situations where you have to draft emails to clients or to your boss about maybe like being late for work or situations like that. So for you, did blogging really help, like with your grammar, your writing, your vocabulary?
It has helped a lot. I have been a little bit slow lately in my blogging, but it was definitely very helpful. It will be like a page long, like 800 words.
Nice.
And I have been using Grammarly,
Mm.
and that has been really helpful because sometimes it will correct the spelling, and other time it's like this word, don't use complicated, complex words.
Mm.
And I like that, and I try to make it easier, use less complicated words, but at the same time, I write it and then I'm reading it. Do I like it? Do I like the way it sounds? And also for LinkedIn, my goal was to post daily.
Ah.
And sometimes I draft a post ahead of time, and the day that I'm gonna post it, I end up um, changing it because I don't like the grammar, or I don't like it all together, and the idea changes because now it's also about storytelling. And yeah, I try to practice like that. And another big component is catch the phrases from the local area.
Well said. Yeah. We're incorporating like idioms, phrasal verbs too that are commonly used, especially like in the work environment. But I also talk to them about like how could use it in like your personal life, social life, and such too. Because you bring in like your personal life into the work environment. People make small talk about your family, children, like especially now with COVID, right? How would you say, so I know that you're very like sociable, but what do you say, like what are the challenges or what were the challenges entering this job, like in these heavy lists of responsibilities?
At this job, I don't think I have any challenges at all. My team has been super flexible, amazing. My manager and my director have been very, very supportive. And I joined this company as a contractor, and I transitioned full time. And I cannot be more happier. What I think the challenge that I'm putting in myself, from me to myself, is about getting better. And examples of that is the public speaking classes. I got this headset. I have a company headset. I bought this one because nobody complained about my voice tone or the quality of my audio. But I'm like, I'm leading 20 meetings a week or 30 meetings a week that I join in total. And I want to sound my best self. And I
Always.
want to, I'm also, thinking about my audience. So that is one of the things. And in a funny story about now with COVID and all that, my computer never gave me any issues while I was at the company and I started working from home. And the spell checker has been on and off, and the IT person works in the computer, he fixes, and it stops working. And I'm like, oh my God, I need the spell check. And I didn't notice until one day I went to my sent items and I was gonna reuse an email that I had there. And when I open it, all the typos, and I'm like, what? I always do the spell check, and I don't know. I am very mindful of that. And like I mentioned, I'm very, I observe very much how my fellow project managers communicate too. And I will use some of those words. Plus, besides the Washington lingo there is gonna be, there's also company lingo.
Mm.
So I also integrate some of those phrases there. In my case, I try not to, and I've never liked integrating maybe less professional words. I don't have any example right now, but I don't know. I wouldn't like the example that is coming to mind because I know I don't like that word in Spanish too. I'm not gonna say in a Skype message or in an email, dude, you're killing me.
Oh God, yeah. No.
And I know it's a phrase that is commonly used, but at the same time, I never used it before, and it's fine with everybody that uses it. It's just me. I'm not gonna do that, or I'm not gonna say, oh, I hate that. I hate that my spell checker is not working. I don't like using hate, and I don't like even typing it.
Uh,
So
Very
those are
positive.
things.
Preserve a very
Exactly.
positive mentality. Okay. Myra, I guess another question I have for you, since you landed this job, what was the interview process for you like here? Like, I imagine it's you go through various series of job interviews, right? Like the process here.
Well, for this job, they I was offered the job in the spot after the interview.
You're kidding me, on the spot? Yeah, I tell my students, okay, more often than not, depending on how they, shake hands with you or what they say to you at the end, you kind of have a feeling of which way they're leaning, whether they like you and they want to bring you in, or if they say, yeah, we will be reaching out to you. Like most likely that's a no-go and you probably that's going to be a pass. But wow, on the spot, that means you made such a great impression on them during the job interview. That's awesome. Do you have any tips for my students?
On interview,
Mm-hmm.
um, I would say the things that I would say is about preparing, and besides doing studying the company, study your role. You want to be a project manager? Do you
Yeah.
want to be in manufacturing? Do you want to be a process engineer, a scientist, a teacher? Familiarize with the role and with the job description or the expectations about that. Familiarize with the salary, have a target salary in mind. Do networking. I know these days it's a little bit different because it's now virtual, but for me, it has been amazing. That was one of the biggest English practices that I had, networking. And I would say also, do not sell yourself short. I want this money, and there's always room to negotiate the money. And I know that you may need the job and you're gonna accept right away, but also, give yourself some credit and respect, and be prepared for that. The the company, the interview, you can take advantage of LinkedIn. It's free. You can research the interviewers, the hiring manager, the recruiters there, and take advantage of pay scale, Glassdoor, and
That
there's.
that's something. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's an important subject that so many people like tiptoe around because money, of course, I mean, that's like the carrot that dangles in front of you. A lot of people work,
Mhm,
of course, they're passionate about their job, but you have to be able to put food on the table for you and your family. So
exactly.
I've heard mixed things. As teachers, we get paid. We come in, it's like the number's already there. It's like there's no room for negotiation. My past jobs, yes, but for yourself, what do you suggest? Okay, if you're not satisfied with this pay scale and they call you and they say that they're interested in hiring you as a candidate, do you recommend, okay, at the beginning to talk about pay, like that pay scale and potentially getting an increase? Because I hear from other managers, I have friends in insurance and such, and they say that's your window. Like if you're not satisfied with the payment, then you have to catch them at the beginning before work starts. And then, if too much time passes, you're going to have to wait until you accomplish quite a bit in the company to bring up that subject. So for you, do you think it's a good idea to talk about it earlier on after, maybe being approached with the job offer?
I would say, I, I would say first, I don't know if there's a right or a wrong answer here, but it would
Yeah.
depend in the role. um, because better late than never, right? But also it's best to start upfront, because if it's too low, you can say no, that is not for me. But at
Mhm.
the same time, is the pay is low, what else is there? Okay, I can work with that number, but can I get more vacation, or can I get a signing bonus, or I have this upcoming training, can you pay for that? It will depend. I know that it a lot, I was unemployed for 10 months. I know it will depend where we are. If we really need to go to work, we may end up getting that, and that's a reality. But also, there are other ways to work around it. And even at the same way, if you, let's say you have a high paying job, but you have to commute 2 hours, and a low paying job that is a
Close.
mile.
Mhm.
So, I know that you know this amount of money in your ear is gonna, like, yes, I'm here, but also driving 2 hours. Do you want to do that with
Yeah.
your life? So it's just a matter of the opportunity, where you are in your life, and where do you want to go. But be upfront, have the some talking points to talk with the recruiter or with the hiring manager, so you can start that conversation straight and in the right order, and you can dominate that, because I know that sometimes for us, because we are ESL, we get um, out of that structure that we had in our mind, and then we go, maybe I will go to Spanish, and then like, oh, I don't know what I was going to ask, and you miss some important questions there. And if you're told that it's low, it happened to me. I asked for an amount of money, and she's like, it was the recruiter. She said, oh no, they're not gonna pay that to you. I
Mm.
didn't say anything because that was my very minimum.
Yeah.
So that's why the research is so important. And pay scale, it shows you the pay, any bonus, stock, I believe 401k, and that type of stuff.
Mhm.
And also that's on top of, do you have education? Do you have a certification, or what is your experience? So maybe from that number that you see there, you can put something and give a range. And you're always open to negotiation.
Yeah, I mean it's two ways, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Myra, I know you're super busy and you've had a really long day, so I'm gonna gradually start wrapping up this interview. One question I have for you is, we talked about different types of work personalities. We already know you're very detail oriented, but what are, I guess, how do you, in your perspective of yourself, what are three work personality words you would use to describe you?
Yeah. I am fact based. I asked a lot of questions, and I am very structured.
Yeah, I like that you're so inquisitive, because then it's, you ask the right questions and you get positive attention and feedback in that way. And I think if you ask the right questions to the right people, then they'll look out for you if a new position comes up or a new opportunity, right? Do you have any last words for my class? Because, some students have been laid off due to COVID. We don't know what the job market will look like. I heard on the radio that, with delivery services being up and such, and IT booming, it seems like for the next 10 years or so, they're saying that this is going to be the focus. But, we have occupations of all spectrums, all ranges. And so maybe some students that are trying to pursue their field, there's going to be, of course, some hurdles that will hinder that. So any advice about, maybe staying optimistic and such during COVID and look while they're looking for work?
Definitely. I consider myself very optimistic, but I am also realistic.
Hmm.
That's why when I talk about job and numbers, I am realistic that maybe we talk about all this, but at the end we're gonna end up taking that job because we need an income. So I really understand that. Other things that your class should take into consideration, reflect on: technology is your friend. Use LinkedIn, make the most of it. I never used the premium version. You can get a lot done with the free version. Record yourself practicing for the interviews. If there are in your job description, you're gonna see a lot of the jargon that is used in that company. Go through those words and try to pronunciate them. Um, Other things are, depending on the type of role that you're looking for, volunteering is a really, really good option. Volunteer has been always great. I have done it for since I was a teenager, and it always make a good impression
That's
in
true.
your resume to your hiring manager. But also you're getting some experience there. It's real experience. You're practicing the job, you're practicing your English, and you're networking with other people. So who knows how life works, and maybe in that organization a payroll opens and you are that person, and it happens to friends of mine. So that's one of the very good things. I volunteer in two nonprofits, and it's amazing. So it's really good. I'll tell you, if you can do that, go for it. And also, you know, don't sell yourself short. go for it, practice, do your research, don't be afraid, and practice your English. I know that we are very aware of that, but it's a matter of keep moving, and baby steps are steps too. So it's preparing and yeah, putting our best foot forward.
Well, Myra, that was some awesome advice. I really liked what you said about recording yourself because every class I record, and some students have told me, like, they think of themselves a certain way, they watch their recording and they're like, wait, I sound like that. And so it's good. It's kind of like that self-reflection is necessary, not necessarily to be like so self-critical and put yourself down, but just to see what areas you can improve on. And that's for everyone, whether you're an ESL student or not, right?
Yeah. I have one more thing that I missed when I was talking just now, and is try not to look desperate.
Okay, that's what are signs that show desperation?
Maybe emailing or calling too often the recruiter or the hiring manager
Oh,
to
that's such a
know
no-no. Yeah.
where
Oh, that's
you are
so
in the
bad.
process, or like if they deny you the job, or even in the screening call, like, oh no, but I need that job. Anything else? I can do anything. Do you have any other opportunities? Things like that. And also like reaching out to the recruiter or hiring manager on LinkedIn, then through email, or if you have their number. Those are the things. And probably if you're doing a video interview, your face. And I know it's hard, but yeah, we need to keep our posture, and in the calls, be always ready if for the words of that you're not getting the offer. Like I said before, I'm realistic, and honestly, I looked that up, and I had my two or three lines, and like, yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for considering me.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good perspective because then you don't give your hopes up, right? And I think also if you kind of go into an interview with that way of thinking, like, okay, whatever, if I don't get, I'm probably not going to get this job. Then it like reduces the stress level too. I feel like, and you can kind of pay attention to what is being said at that moment rather than kind of just getting stuck in your own mind, thinking of all the questions and trying to interpret what they're saying. I think so
Yeah.
much of it is like state of mind. Yeah.
Yes, just go open for it. Be realistic. We want to, yes, I'm gonna get this job. Yes, of course, but also be realistic. And also, if you're getting an interview, don't forget about your job search. Keep
Mm-hmm.
into that. And also, I know that job search is a full-time job, so take a break. If you need to take a day off, take a day off. If you need to take a few hours off, take a few hours off.
Myra, there's some like job fairs that are going on, and I'm sharing them with my students. For example, Amazon's hosting something, OC Job Fair. Did you attend any like job fairs while you were here in California or no?
No, I don't remember attending any. I did went to conferences and there were jobs there, but I attended one here in Washington, and I did not have a good experience. It wasn't a company sponsor, it was more like an organization, but they
Oh,
advertised something, and it ended up not being the reality when I went there.
yeah, I get you. I mean, so much of it could be like, what is their motivation or their incentive? It's probably just to get numbers for like marketing and money and such. Mm.
Yeah,
Well,
one of the things that happened to me there is like I went for one of the companies specifically, and I inquired about those positions, and they told me we are not recruiting for those positions here.
that's so ridiculous.
And I'm like, okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay, bye. Well, Myra, thank you so much for your time. It's really appreciative, and my students will be so excited to hear, especially from you and your history of dealing like with that kind of maybe the challenges of having an accent, but I like your confidence. It's not about like you don't want to be arrogant, you always want to be humble, but you want to have like a quiet confidence where you know yourself and people in the room can kind of feel that energy. And I think you definitely display that. So
Oh, thank you so much.
thank you so much, Myra. Have a wonderful day, and I hope to, well, maybe not see you around, but I will. I just I guess be I'll let you know how it goes in my class after we
Yeah,
work.
I will love to hear. And if you or your students want to connect with me in LinkedIn, I'll be happy to.
Awesome. Thank you, Myra.
Thank you.